Good day, everybody. This is the Ecclesiarch here, back to you with some more Warpforge, and we are going to be starting off with a little bit of climbing for the new season. And before we even get a patch or anything, I'm just gonna be using Grandma here to try and get some points. Now, Ursula Creed, I still think, is probably the best choice of a Warlord for the Astra Militarum. So if you're playing the guard, most probably you either want to play her or Hector. I think those are the best choices, even though I think you could also use Dankler for that late game type of build, or you can go for Lord Solar, which I do think is the weakest out of them. Technically, you could play all of them if you want, but I think Ursula and Hector provide the best value because both of them have a very cool duty ability, and they also come with a cool talent. So for Ursula, her duty ability is very cool. She can summon a shock trooper on demand, basically, so you gotta be very smart when you want to use this. It's not necessary to just drop it turn one. Gotta be a little careful with it. And of course, she has the legendary Commandant, which allows her to generate more and more stratagems, and the Imperial Guard have a lot of good stratagems, so it's pretty good with that. Now, we're not using a lot of legendaries with this build. We're actually just using 3, that being Minka, Cadia Stands, as well as Vitus Gryf. Minka is there to reduce the cost of our infantry, which we have a ton of in the early game. So one of the tactics that you technically like using with guard is infantry spam, so she can really help with that. Cadia Stands obviously is a very powerful card because a systematic summon of a shock trooper with a vanguard is super good. And then there's Vitus Gryf because that flank with the sleigh is just super good overall, and it's great value even after the nerfs. So what this deck pretty much does, it plays around a couple of key cards, which are Armoured Lightning, that's going to summon Tempestus Scions, Chimera and Taurox, which are going to provide great value for your board-wide Imperial Guard army spam, which basically you have Chimera providing armor and Taurox providing more troops with stuns. And of course, there's the Leman Russ tank, which is your main player here because that's what's gonna kind of help you finish off the game. We also do have the Scout Sentinel for a little bit of card draw, and on top of that, we do have double Full Throttle. So Full Throttle together with the Scout Sentinel can actually be really good because, for example, when you play Full Throttle, you could technically play this at 2 energy, which means that instead of 3 energy, you play this at 4 energy, sorry, you play this at 3, which is a big deal, honestly, because 5 HP troops so early with the card draw and the camouflage is amazing. We have some more energy manipulation through Faeburn Vanquishers, obviously, and we do have the Aquilon Servo-Sentries. Mostly they are there to combo with the Armoured Lightning, that's their main role. And for our basically board spam, we got the Standard Bearers, a card that you mostly want to have on all Imperial Army decks because the value is just insane with this card. It summons you a Vanguard troop and has a pretty powerful ability. Ogryns, nice little front line. It's a little bit stronger than Triarch Praetorian, which for me is like the staple 3 energy cost card, without the Remnant obviously because it's not a Necron. We got Ratling, great early game because that regiment always targets a troop, so that really helps you deal with stealth boards or early game boards just to clear up. For the same reason we got the Kasrkin. You could replace Kasrkin with the Tempestus Sergeants, but it's really up to you. I think it's up to basically your own taste. We got Vox Operators, mainly they're there to combo with either Sentinels or Chimera or Taurox, sometimes with Leman Russ, but mostly these two are the targets. And I got 1 Artillery Strike in there for some early game removal. Now, obviously, there are a lot of legendary cards that you can really consider putting in there, like there's High Command, but I like this more on vehicle-based late-game builds. There's the Ogryn Nork, which is a great defense card, and then there's of course the Godspear Warhead, which is always pretty nice, a pretty nice addition to any deck. But I don't think that we're going to be targeting the late game as much as to really justify using that card. And obviously, Tech Priest doesn't really have anything to do here. I think this is like an exclusively a Dankler card. Anyway, so without further ado, let's just dash in and let's see what we can do. The strength of Ursula Creed is that she has a very strong early game with also a pretty powerful mid game, and she can also summon a ton of value just from her talent, which is insanely good, and she has a great special ability. The weaknesses of Ursula, on the other hand, I'd say is quite simple. She doesn't have the best late game, she doesn't have the best burst, and she might struggle against warlords that kind of really mess up your board. Now, we're playing against Asmodai here, and honestly speaking, this is one of those cases where you might actually want to consider spamming the board as soon as possible, because these are the Dark Angels, and we have to pressure Asmodai as much as we can, because what we don't want happening is we don't want him freely using his repentance and his agenda. So we need to slow down his quest generation. Now, there are a lot of cases where Asmodai just gets stupidly lucky and just generates the quest right away. Like generates and then draws it, I mean, but doesn't necessarily have to be that right now, so we'll see what we can do. We're gonna drop Scout Sentinel here, so he's gonna be protected. We're gonna shoot it there, and we're gonna face bash. We definitely need to face bash this matchup. We don't want to stay defensive. Now, my Scout Sentinel is being defended, which means that it's gonna be able to give me some value next turn with card draw, or for removal, depending on what our enemy plays. And we got extremely unlucky. The chances of that were quite low, but you know what? I'll take it. As long as he does not manage to draw his... as long as he does not manage to draw his Convoke the Circle right away, we should be good. He already did get pretty lucky though, and one thing I know about this game is once you start getting lucky, it just starts being a thing, so... I am unsure how this will go. Now this is pretty good for me. Now this is pretty good because I can just play Vitus here, and Vitus can take this out basically for free, and it's gonna summon me another flying unit, so that's gonna be pretty. What I said is, once you get a little bit lucky in the game, it tends to last for the whole game. Like, if RNG is on your side, for some reason it seems like it's on your side for the whole game. I might be imagining the things, but we'll see, I guess. Okay, he's gonna have to take some 3 damage to the face again, which is great. Let's see what else he plays. He plays a Ravenwing Ancient, which is also going to get removed. That's not gonna be able to stick, which is perfect. And I think what we do here is we play a Standard Bearer, and we use the ability, let's get Valkyrie drop, and let's punch him. And I think at this point I also shoot with this, because this is the turn where he probably can play Deadly Hunters, so don't really want to have a lot of trash on the board, so that not to give him too much value. If he plays Deadly Hunters here, it's not like huge value, but you know, still works. Okay, plays the Master of Repentance. Let's get another quest point. Dash is there. Fine with me. Plays the thing. Ooh, Ancient Reliquary, okay. Alright. Actually, I don't think that's too bad. So what I'm gonna do... Maybe I should not have done it that way. Yeah, I miscalculated a little bit there. I hope it doesn't end up costing me the game, but we'll see. He's already played a ton of flank units, so let's see what else he's got there. I have my Vox Operator for my combos. It's really bad that he managed to take out my Sentinel so early, because I would have had 2 card more there, which is a big deal, obviously. Oh, Deadly Hunters, okay. That's a huge deal right there. That is unfortunately a huge deal. It's getting a lot of value, which is not good. So let's see what I get here. Well, obviously he plays the quest. Ooh, that's a big deal right there. That's a big deal. So we're certainly going to do this. And we're gonna punch him. Now, he needs to draw a quest. Otherwise, he might be in trouble because there's no more deadly hunters. And clearing this kind of a board without deadly hunters is extremely difficult. So it probably needs Convoke the Circle or Smothering Decree, something like that is probably what he needs here. The Angel of Caliban. He's a Dark Angels fan. Let's see if he gets more flankers. Ooh, he got the big boy there. But the thing is that big boy really did a very little value, which is great. Now, he can, of course, sacrifice this, no problem. Fortunately, he can't take anything out, though, which is great. It's obviously gonna try to target the Chimera. That makes a whole lot of sense. So, based on what we get here, we can choose to act. Okay, we got another Chimera, which is absolutely perfect. So we're gonna do this real quick. I think we just Ogryn as well. And at this point we should just try to finish him off. Might fail, but we'll see what we can do. His talent costs 1. But what he could do here is punch, return, punch. Now he's very close to dying, which is really good. Because slowly we are starting to go into a stage of the game where we won't be able to combat him because my resources are gonna start to dry out. And there's this lone Vox Operator that's really not doing much right now, so let's see how it goes. Okay, Samael again. Samael gets to attack a very useless target there, so it's totally fine with me. So it's really good with these shock troopers. They might seem like a non-issue, but they are an issue because they're protecting all the high-value targets, and having that armor makes them like crazy good. Okay, alright. Yeah, GG. That's game over. Alright, boys. Asmodai down. That is a perfect way to start off the day. Because you guys know how much I hate fighting against Asmodai. You are very familiar with that, so... Ooh! We got Leontus. It's a very interesting matchup. Not gonna lie. But I think we have the upper hand because our Warlord's a little bit stronger.
Arise, warriors of the Imperium, for the Emperor!
Okay, plays the Faeburn Vanquisher. We're obviously going to mirror what she did. And now I am going to drop it. Don't mind my cough, guys. Nurgle got to me again. Now, the reason why we dropped this is because next turn I want to play Scout Sentinel, and the best value I can get from Scout Sentinel is when his board is not full. Now, unfortunately, he did a very good answer against it. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop another. I'm gonna drop the Scout. Gonna punch, and I'm gonna punch. So this way, he needs 2 attacks to actually take out the Sentinel. So must attack with this and this, and he also has to. He can also play something, obviously. Ooh, that's not too good. That's not perfect, but it's not terrible either, to be honest. Could have been worse. Yeah, that's not too good. That's not too good. Okay, so what do we do here is the question. We could just play our own, but I think I think this is the better play here. And should I just summon a thing? I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna punch it. So currently he's taking the initiative from us, which is very dangerous. So that play with the early standard bearer really shot us down. Oh, he's playing a medic as well. Interesting. Okay. And an Aquilon Sentry. I think we might actually lose this one because he's already got a lot of... we're playing a very similar deck, but he has a lot of initiative over us. This is not bad. Oh, we'll still see. We still have a chance here because I can generate way more value. Oh, that's not good. That is not good, boys. That is not good. What do we get? We got another. Well, we did get artillery strike. Let's see if it's an lucky one. That's a very lucky artillery strike, to be honest, but it's not enough to save the game, so we have to resign this. Unfortunately, we have to resign this. Fortunately for me, I do have a shield, so I'm not gonna lose any points for that, which is really good. Ooh, that was a harsh game. That was a harsh game. I mean, our Warlord was better and we did have the advantage, but he made a very good starting play. That was like one of the perfect ways to counter us, I guess. Okay, we got Aquilon Sentry, which is good. I think we switch out everything else though. Now, when it comes to the Emperor's Children, it's a little bit scary because that thing does a ton of damage, as you guys know. So what I think is we might want to do a very strong early game, maybe with the sentries actually. Usually the Emperor's Children do not play something turn 1, mostly turn 2 when they start dropping things, so I think a very strong turn 1 opening might be a good deal for us. To get 2 Cadians and 1 sentry. Now, obviously, Captain General Kitten. Alright. Captain General Kitten has gone full Slanesh. Because he's going to be dealing a lot of damage, as you guys know. Now, way he can ruin my turn 1 is playing something right away, which is possible. He could play the Astartes that generates the elixirs. So that would be probably the strongest thing he can do to jeopardize my early game. Okay, but what is he doing though? Maybe say hi?
I have seen you and judged you. Face my wrath.
By the way, sometimes it's a good idea to emote if you think that your opponent is AFK, because they might have it all tabbed or something, and sometimes the voice line goes through and they come back. I don't think this is the case. Kind of sucks though, I wanted to play this matchup. It's an interesting one. Okay, whatever. So what I wanted to do basically, guys, here was I wanted to play this, I wanted to play this, and then drop this, because this is a very strong start. You got 2 protectors, and it's protecting you against Lucius. Now, Lucius is one of those warlords that can deal with it because he's got 3 attack, so he can punch through the guardsmen. If this is a 2 attack warlord that's a little bit passive, they might have a really tough time dealing with a board like this. So this is usually a very good opening. So, you know, let's take this chance to learn a little bit about how you want to start off the game. Now, ideally, obviously, what you want to do is you want to use your whole energy every turn, right? So you want to use your legendary commandant, for example. But nevertheless, if you're playing against something like Lucius, you probably want to consider building a strong early game, because afterwards you get Cadia Stands. The earlier you play Cadia Stands, the better. If I had this kind of a board, I might have actually considered not playing Cadia Stands and going for Scout Sentinel, but here's the thing, you're playing against Emperor's Children, right? So theoretically he already probably would have destroyed this board. And playing the Scout Sentinel is basically just telling him, okay, just play the Fiend. So it might be a good idea to play Cadia Stands, then retaliate with Vitus Gryf. And it can end up being like a very good answer. But in this case, obviously, we'll just play this. And I guess we'll just attack him. Guy's AFK, apparently. That's very unfortunate, as I said. I really wanted to play... I really wanted to play this specific matchup. Not sure if he's AFK or disconnected. But well, we're kind of using him to learn. Now, normally, in this kind of a situation, you use your duty ability and you drop your Ogryn and your Vox Operator. Unless you have to retaliate, otherwise then you just play Armoured Lightning and it's kind of over, right? So that's kind of how it works. But in this case, we'll just do whatever. Just we want to kill him as soon as possible so that this game ends and we can go to the next one. Okay, next turn we got him. By the way, this, as I said, this setup with double guardsmen and a Aquilon Servo is usually one of your strongest starts, because this thing can really... Oh, okay, there you go. He came back. He came back very late, though. Unfortunately. Unfortunately for him. He did give us a ton of points, though, at 53, which I think is great. We're going second again, okay. Ooh, Nemesis Xandre. Now, that's an interesting matchup. This is a beautiful hand, absolutely. We're definitely going for the Shock Trooper. In most cases, you just want to take the... Sorry, guys. You want to take the Shock Trooper starting, because that's the best one. Now, with Nemesis Xandre, since he's probably gonna play Relentless March turn 1, I can't do the ideal opening, because I have to punch with Ursula. But I can do the semi-ideal opening, so we're gonna do Timely Reinforcements, and we're gonna do this. Again, oh, nice. The problem with having good cards like Aquilon Sentry and the Faeburn Vanquisher is that you want to be using your whole energy during the turn, which means probably using Legendary Commandant turn 1, but this game is so tempo-based in general that it's really almost never worth it to sacrifice it for anything. Okay, that's a pretty good move from our opponent there. Ooh, it's an unlucky thing for him. We're gonna take this out. We're gonna drop an Ogryn and we're gonna drop another Shock Trooper. So this is going to get very annoying for him, because I got the Standard Bearer coming next, and then the Kasrkin is just going to go to town. So it's pretty good. We got a pretty good curve here. We got a pretty good curve. Also, it's a pretty good deck in a sense that, as I've always said, I think that the Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum, are one of the best beginner factions, because first of all, they're not hard to play, not too much at least, and on top of that, they're cheap. You really don't need a lot of stuff to play with the Guard, so it's pretty good. I'm gonna take it out like this. And honestly speaking, I think it's time we start going aggro. So he really needs a Scythe Assault here. With a lucky Scythe Assault, he could actually clear the whole board. If he plays a Scythe Assault and it does 3 damage, here and here. He could clear it, so let's see if he does. But actually, he does. That's pretty good. That's the only thing that pretty much brings him back into the game. But nevertheless, so we're gonna go for this. Thunderous Charge, not bad. Let's get that. Let's get the Kasrkin out and let's shoot him.
Kill shots authorized.
Now, he actually managed to get out of that situation. It's not impossible to really get out of an Imperial Guard spam because their HPs are generally quite low. So you do want to consider that, like, around energy turn, energy 5, a lot of your opponents are going to be able to, you know, get out of it. Ooh. Now, if he gets lucky, he might end up shooting the Kasrkin twice. But even if that happens, it's... Oh, so he doesn't... That's a bit of a weird way to do it, but you know what? I'll take it.
Fight to the last breath.
We'll take it. We'll actually take it. Gonna drop the Faeburn and make the operator cheaper. Because next turn we have 7 energy, we might draw a Chimera or Taurox, and that will allow us to already, like, right away get the thing there. Ooh, that's a scary thing. He's gonna clear again, but despite... Huh. I don't think that is worth it, man. I really don't think that is worth it. I think he just lost a lot of HP for nothing. I can kind of understand what he was trying to do, but I still don't think that it was worth it. Maybe he's got a resurrection orb, though. That could be a thing. Nevertheless, we're gonna drop the Armoured Lightning, and we're gonna drop the Vox Operator. Gonna build up that board. So, if he has the Resurrection Orb, it might be huge. Go on, show us the Resurrection Orb. Nope. With the Resurrection Orb, this could have been a game-winning swing, though, but... unfortunately, it wasn't for him. That's logical. It's there. It's an interesting development. Armored Squadron. Now, Armored Squadron could be really good here, but we don't really want to play that yet. Because we got a board to clear. And there is a ton to clear. There's a lot of trash on the board currently. Does this stun the Warlord? Nope. Ooh. I think that's a little bit too slow. And now we got a pretty... Oh! That's crazy, the Baneblade. However, logic dictates that we take this.
Prepare for immediate deployment.
Because the board is going to become unstoppable. Yeah, and now he lost because his remnants have been destroyed. I really wanted that Baneblade, but this is way better. Look at that armor. The Chimera is nuts. So, mostly you don't want to be playing Conquering Tyrant and armor on Nemesor, I think. I think it's too slow because Nemesor is, I believe, more of a tempo warlord, so you don't really want to be playing him that way, but nevertheless, it's still fun. It's interesting to see people try out different styles. I think if you want to go for like a crazy duelist, you either go for Imotech or you go for Ramatech. You go for Imotech because he's got the most sustainability, he's control, he's defensive, and Ramatech because Ramatech is the best duelist. Oh. Yikes, so we got Imotech himself. Ethereal Energy. That would have been pretty fun, but nope. Now, against Imotech,
With fury in our hearts, we will never falter.
I will reshape this
we might actually want to go Legendary Commandant here.
unity.
Vengeance for Cadia could be really good. Armored Squadron can also be pretty good. I think we're gonna go for Vengeance for Cadia here. This is a tough matchup, by the way. This is very tough. This is very tough because Imotech is quite strong and very powerful on control. He feeds on 3 HP troops and stuff, which can allow him to deal with your board spam quite effectively. Though he does have a problem, which is dealing with things like this, which is great. I'm gonna drop this as well. Because anything with camouflage is a hell for Imotech, I think. Now this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Because it allows me to now get some value from this. Obviously he's got the Scorpec destroyers that he can later on use, but we're gonna see what we get from here. We got a Kasrkin. That is great. We gotta drop this Kasrkin. We're gonna drop this, and we're actually gonna shoot him because we're gonna start dealing some damage to him. Imotech's weakest point is his early game, despite his buffs to sustain. You have to overwhelm him while you can, so one of the things you really want to do. Obviously, he goes for... Oh! That is interesting. That is actually very interesting. That's not the play I expected there, to be fair. I'm gonna drop Vitus Gryf though. I think that's my play here. We get Vitus Gryf. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. So we're gonna attempt to deal a lot of damage. That's the goal, basically. Deal as much damage as we can early, equalize the HPs, and then try to do something. Okay, there's gonna be Inescapable Retribution. Obviously the Inescapable Retribution wants to take out... Really? That's a very weird way, I would say, but, well, fair enough. We're gonna drop this now. I'm gonna shoot him. We're gonna punch him. And we're gonna keep it. Yeah, sure, it's a target for his lifesteal, but he still has to waste 2 energy for that. The Taurox is gonna be insanely good. And Taurox plus Chimera is gonna be even better, so it's gonna be a big deal. Ooh, he's gonna use the healing. That's I would say smart. That is quite smart, actually. So here's the deal. I believe we're gonna do this. It's gonna be quite tough for him to deal with this board right here. He needs Curse of the Pharaon, and even if he does Curse of the Pharaon, his lifesteal is not gonna do much, cause these things are camouflaged, and I have Vengeance for Cadia in my hand, which probably he does not expect. Ooh, there's the Curse of the Pharaon, though. I respect that. And the healing, I'd say that's smart. But the problem with that decision, actually, is that he now takes out 1 unit less And I think in this particular situation, taking out one unit less is actually pretty bad. For obvious reasons. And we're going to do this. So this bad boy is going to take him out. And now we're going to finish Imotech. So I think taking out an extra unit would have been good. But then again, considering I had Cadia 4K, Vengeance for Cadia, it didn't really matter, I guess. Though, it's quite dangerous. Imotech is a dangerous matchup, so unless you play really smart about it, you're mostly not gonna win that matchup. So try to consider when he's at his weakest, and also always think about the energy that Imotech is wasting. Don't just say, if I play this unit, he's just gonna take it out with his ability. Also think that he has to waste energy to use his ability, and how much does that benefit you? Okay, we go second again, that's fine. We're facing against Varro Tigurius. Do I play Thunderstorm is the question here. No, I don't think so, because this game can honestly go either way.
You should be focusing on the real enemy.
You should be focusing on the real enemy.
To decide.
Oof. Here we're gonna go for summary execution. Oh, because one of the big plays that Varro players usually do is that they build a very powerful firstborn. So that's one of their plays. So certainly you want to be ready to answer that play with something. And since I'm not, the reason I'm not including any summary executions is because Ursula can pretty reliably generate these things throughout the game. So it's pretty good. Oh, I got an Ogryn. Alright, we'll take that. Okay. I think that works. Nothing this turn, though. If I play this, Chimera becomes 4, but I don't have enough energy. Thus, I do this. I guess this could work.
One shot should do it.
It'd be really good to play a Chimera next turn, actually. Or we could wait for a Leman Russ. It's good to see that he's not been triggering any codexes. Okay, takes that out. Good for him. Good for him. And does the high factory, does the refill.
Make the engines
That's
roar.
not good.
It's time to scour this battlefield.
Oh, this could be really funny. But it doesn't help me, that's the issue. It just doesn't help me enough. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. That's a very huge swing.
Strike at their weakness to prevail.
Oh god, here it goes now. The Varro combo. Wonder if he already has everything he needs, because he only played his stratagem once, right? There wasn't a huge... Should have first attacked right. I think I misplayed hard there. I think I should have first struck, and then... It didn't really matter, to be honest, because I think at that point Varro did manage to swing the board a little bit too much. That play with the refill into Antaro Chronos was very big. That was a big play. Okay, we got a Swarm Lord. Dangerous opponent. Now, against Swarm Lord, you need a very strong early board. That means that we're gonna do the typical opening, Double Guard and Aquilon Sentry, unless he already plays something at 2 energy, which he does. Interesting, actually. Not something you always expect him to do, but nevertheless, what I have to do here is I have to take a small risk. The risk doesn't pay off, but honestly speaking, it's not that huge because now what he has to do is probably buff this, strike, and I still take it out and I get the Ogryn. So, technically speaking, I still managed to maintain the lead. He does take that out, but next turn I take it out. Oh god, not something I expected, but you know what?
Yes, sir.
We have sort of an answer for it. As you guys can notice, like, people are playing a lot for tempo. It's not just us. So that should kind of tell you the current state of things. The game is very heavily based on tempo currently, so you gotta be very careful. Okay, so we for sure need to deal with this now, so even though I'm kind of losing some tempo for this, I have to take this thing out. Otherwise, he's just gonna keep growing it, and it's gonna become impossible to manage. Thus, we have to do something about it. Drops a Carnifex. That's very, very bad. That is, like, insanely bad. So he buffs the Carnifex. Together with the Swarm Lord, he destroys the Taurox Prime. But nevertheless, I still have to play it. There's no other way. Unfortunately, there's no other way there. Oh boy. No, technically speaking, we might be in some serious trouble. Have to fish. Yeah, I mean, I think we actually need to surrender this. I don't think we're swinging this anymore, boys. I think that our opponent played the game very, very well. Now, you might be asking, why are you resigning that match? There are some matches that you can easily realize you're never gonna be able to swing back again, because we know what's in our deck, right? So we don't really have anything at all that can stop a growing Tyrannid deck like that. So might as well save yourself some time. Our opponent, I think, played this immensely well because he played on tempo. He tried to maintain the tempo like to the maximum. So I think that he played the game exactly as he should have. Now here's an interesting thing. We got a pretty powerful... Okay, Captain General Kitten, are you gonna get your revenge?
If it is death you crave, who am I to deny it?
Okay, let's see. So this time he is not AFK. Now, here's the question. Do we make the Leman Rush cheaper, or do we...
I've seen you and judged you. Face my wrath.
Or do we make Vitus Gryf cheaper? I think we make a cheap Vitus Gryf here.
Armed and ready.
Because it's gonna be a very strong early game tool. And Emperor's Children cards do tend to have low attack. Either melee or ranged. One off. So we might actually abuse it quite hard. I think we take all the shots here. And we can also drop the Ratling.
One shot.
Just to maintain the board pressure. Remember, when you're playing against Lucius, every point of damage matters. Because more you damage the Emperor's Children Warlords, some of their tools become quite bad. Specifically, for example, the card that deals AoE damage to everything, right? That can become quite a useless thing due to that. The thing that deals 7 damage to everything, because if he's lower HP than you, that card does more harm than it does benefits, so certainly want to do that. That's a very cool way to deal with this. I like that. That's pretty unlucky. For him, I mean. Not for us. We have a dead turn, which is horrible. That is very, very bad. I think we get the Valkyrie drop. And we do not attack with this troop. We reserve it. Because we have a dead turn, as I said, and we need to stay safe. By dead turn, I mean we didn't have anything for 5. Yeah, see what I mean, guys? Oh. Ah, God, he misplayed it hard though, right?
It has been some time since I have broken a
He misplayed that very hard. I guess we just get rid of this for free. You cannot target it for Valkyrie drop because it's gonna get a shield. Just thinking what's the best possible play here. I think actually Armoured Lightning is the play. Instead of dropping a big troop that he can take out with Seekers or something like that, it's better to build a wider board that he has to really bother himself with destroying. Plus I'm trying to guard this like really hard. See what I mean? Like if I had dropped a Taurox Prime, you would have just taken that out, right? So it would not have been effective. You're really trying to protect that. Got a pretty good answer for this. Let's start from this. Whew. So, if you notice there, that's the reason why I played this first. Because this blinds a troop, and you wanted to at least get a 50-50 of this getting blinded. Because if this had gotten blinded, I would have been in trouble. So, I think we did pretty well in that sense. He's already wasted 2 of his Seekers. He's got 2 more, obviously. Well, there's one coming out right now. Takes that out. You gotta be very smart with using your flyers against Emperor's Children, by the way, because as you guys probably know, flyers are like one of their core weaknesses. Oh, you gotta keep that in mind. Now the question is, what do I play next? Do I just play the Leman Russ tank? I think I just play the Russ tank here and just get it annoying on him, because it's gonna deal a ton of damage. And the tank by itself is tough to deal with. And we don't really care about losing the range damage either, because most of the Emperor's Children units have high melee. So that's what you target. What's your target? What your target is. He already used the ranged removal tool, so there is a chance that he's not holding a second one. If he's holding, he'll remove it, but that's 3 energy gone, and he still has to deal with the Aquilon. So I think that's a good position for us. Well, that also works, obviously. Gets the whatever they're called. Okay. Now, this Harmonist is really good for this particular reason, but again, it doesn't really work because Leman Russ tank just shoots. It doesn't care about the it doesn't really care about the reduction in attack, because you pretty much just still deal a lot of damage with it. Okay, let's move into the next game. Either way, as you guys probably notice, the deck is quite powerful, but it does struggle when it comes to comeback potential. Ooh, we got the sisters. Now, nobody loves playing against the sisters. Well, at least Erica.
With fury in our hearts, we will never.
But we might be one of the few things that can really deal with her. Now, here's the problem. When you're playing guard against sisters, one of the main issues is how fast are they going to get the Hallowed Martyrs. Because if they do that, do get that early, it's gonna be terrible. You're really good at interrupting their prayers though, as you guys can see. So if she gets the Hallowed Martyrs on curve, it's kinda over in its own way, but we'll see.
Offer your blood to the Holy Emperor.
That is terrible, by the way, what she played there. It's like horrifying, but well, what can I do, right? So I'm just gonna have to risk taking a ton of damage here. That's not too bad. Okay, we took a lot of damage, but at least we survived. Now, if it's a Hallowed Martyrs on curve, it is very nasty. I don't get it, man. How does that happen every single friggin' time? And the worst part about it is that... Holy fuck. What do I even do now? So I guess this is the best way. She's gonna clear like 100%. There's no way around it. That is terrible as hell. Well, I guess I just have to summon more trash. Oh boy.
My soul is consecrated.
And so it begins. They knock off that shield. Ooh. That's gonna be nasty. Ooh, thank God, we got a little bit lucky there. We got a little bit lucky. Oh my God. Ah, crap. That's a smart play. I don't know if you guys caught what she did there, but that is such a smart play. That is such a smart play. You know why it's smart, guys? Because it ruined my Armoured Lightning. Well, it didn't ruin it, but it did make these guys less dangerous, so... And she played really smart. Okay, Seraphim. Prayer. Slowly I see getting that... Faith going. Gonna summon more of these. Still gonna have to knock that off because
Armed and ready.
oh. Okay, wait a minute. Do I... No, I still have some chances. It's probably gonna punch, right? Okay, got a little bit lucky. But that's fine. Now, here's the issue here. I think we actually got something here. So better to make the Vox Operator cheaper. We might have something here. Okay, plays the Zephyrim. Has a little card draw, as he should.
I will offer your blood to the Holy Emperor.
We got him.
New orders in from command. Target sighted.
So never forget, even though you can't attack the Warlord, your duty can target it. Yeah, GG. If we hadn't done the 5 damage there, we would have finished the Warlord off with the Tempestus Scion, so... That was a tough one. That was a really tough one because dealing with the Sisters player, which gets a Hallowed Martyr right off the bat, is very scary. Okay, guys, so that's my take on Ursula Creed. As you can see, the Warlord does have a clear weakness, which is doesn't have a lot of comeback potential unless you still have the combo to really rebuild your board from nothing, which can also happen, obviously, but if she loses out on tempo, then it becomes very difficult to get back into the game. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed, because she's still really good. She's really powerful. She has a lot of pressure, and she's a great choice if you wish to get those Imperial Guard games up at the start of the season. So thanks a lot for joining. This was the Ecclesiarch, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Have a good day.